The new federal parliament is open and down to business tonight, but breakouts are already happening on the Liberal backbench, the crossbench and by the opposition. Coalition senators want to change race discrimination laws, while Labor, the Greens and some independents are pushing bills for same-sex marriage. And none of it gels with the Prime Minister's priorities. Here's National Affairs correspondent Greg Jennett.
Daubed in paint, they'd come in peace. Modern leaders and Indigenous politicians combined in ancient Australian traditions and the oldest of British ones. Swearing in was completed on an industrial scale in House and in Senate. 226 in total. The double dissolution election means it hadn't been done like this in 33 years. Empty chairs were filled by the same people who sat in them 3 months ago.
I'm back, Stephen.
And eagerly filled, despite the impression.
A little resistance. Just a little bit.
The Crown was called in. And the crowning glory of the narrowest of election wins bestowed before a very full House.
It is now my pleasure to declare open the 45th Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia.
Protocol and tradition would normally dictate that political conflict be set aside on opening day. But as the Governor-General's limo glid away, acrimony and argument had already broken out. And not just between politicians. Beneath the spires of the pre-parliamentary prayer service, Bill Shorten got buttonholed by a man of the cloth.
You described people who weren't in favour of changing the definition of marriage as haters who come out from under rocks.
Please don't hector me. Let me just, you've got to give me the chance to speak.
Go.
The Labor leader's prediction of plebiscite pain proved self-fulfilling.
Some people who object to marriage equality do have homophobic attitudes.
Which prompted him to flag a gay marriage private members bill within a fortnight, pitched in a race with 3 crossbenchers trying to move their own.
And hopefully by doing that we create the environment that at least 3 men or women from the government will, I'd rather not say cross the floor, I'd rather say join us.
Pressure points are being applied on the government from without and from within. Day one's brought notice of rebellion by 13 coalition backbenchers to try to outlaw the offence of offending and insulting in the race discrimination laws.
It's not enough to get it passed, but it says there is an overwhelming cross-section of support for it.
And it's enough to remind the Prime Minister he'll need friends and votes wherever he can find them in this Parliament. Greg Jennett, ABC News, Canberra.
Political editor Chris Uhlmann joins us from Canberra. Chris, the government wants to talk about economic management, yet all the discussion today has been about same-sex marriage and race hate laws. How hard will it be for Malcolm Turnbull to prosecute his agenda?
Very hard, Louisa, and Malcolm Turnbull will have to show political skills that he hasn't showed in the past and a dedication to a cause. Now, he does have an agenda, and that's on budget repair, not handing on a mountain of debt from one generation to the next. But that's going to be a difficult thing to get through the Senate, and it's a very dry argument. Much more beguiling are things like the race hate laws, which stir up passions, and the marriage laws, which are also stirring up passions. And Malcolm Turnbull will have to worry that every single day he'll be dragged off onto a secondary agenda by things like that.
So, Chris, what lies ahead for the Turnbull government?
Yeah, we can't see into the future, but we can see pretty clearly lessons from the past, and lessons from the past tell us that this government's future is in its own hands. Kevin Rudd, Julia Gillard and Tony Abbott were not brought down by the opposition. The opposition can apply pressure. In the end, what matters is whether or not the coalition caves into that. So every MP and every senator will now have to decide, do they want to be in government or not?
Chris Uhlmann at Parliament House.